Hello and welcome to Dog's Life. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we are heading to the second area of Lake Miniwawa, the ski slope. So, yeah, please excuse the weirdness here, because it tried to load the music, and then remembered it had to load the radio, so that was not a fact of that. The game's loading can be a little inconsistent at times when it comes to that kind of the order of events. So let's head to the ski slope properly, and actually start doing stuff there. This area is big, perhaps a little too big in some cases. Some of the scents can be really difficult to find, especially the purple ones. This one has some of the more judicious cutting, because I often got lost looking for the purple scents in this area. Present company excluded. So, let's take a quick look around and see what we can find vis-a-vis NPC side quests. And the bones just lying around the world as well. This area's big enough I'm gonna marry the two.
Better go to the top of the slope. There's a kid up there looking for a dog.
Thanks for the tip. We'll be up there shortly, but first we have more to do. For example, that. Let's vary up the landscape a little bit by making a big hole in it. This area's a little bit too wide.
Gimme!
I bet you can't hit me with like 3 snowballs.
One neat thing here, I did this too quickly to really show off, but when you've hit this kid with the first snowball, the second kid actually starts throwing them towards you directly because he knows you have a better chance of hitting him than he does, because he always misses. So let's hit him 3 times. Again, this is kind of tricky to properly set up, but all we really need to do is make sure we're properly lined up. And that happens when you try and catch a snowball in midair. The game doesn't know what to do with it. So there we go, and he just rolls the bone down the hill. That can be kind of hard to remember to do actually, because there's no real fanfare to it. It's just he just drops the bone right there, and it's like fine. Or normally they'd either give it to you in the cutscene or it shows up in the dog bowl.
Oh no, not again! That's the 3rd hat I've lost this week. My ears will freeze for sure.
I quite like this little sequence, but this guy really is bad with his hats. And this hat's really bad at collision apparently. Because it's just not touching anything, it's just hovering next to where it should be. So let's just enjoy this little scene as it flies up to the top of the mountain. Now, we actually can deal with this ourselves because this part of the game is kind of awkwardly programmed, but I'm not going to. I'm going to show off how the game intends you to do it. So that will have to wait. Because I kind of want to let the game speak on its own terms as opposed to me breaking it over my knee, because you don't really need to. It's an easy enough game as far as things go. You may have noticed all the skiers on the slope, they're the main problems finding the purple scents here. They can often camouflage what could be purple scents with their trails that never are, but it's easy to make the mistake.
Hey, Lake Miniwawa!
Here's a new radio station over here. The same radio station as before actually, but a new place to hear it. And there's a small bone hidden in there that can be easy to miss.
Me and those boys are having a snowman building contest. Can you help me beat them? Try rolling the snowball to make it bigger. Check this out.
This part's actually kind of tricky because if you roll it the wrong way, it'll roll down this mountain and you'll not be able to get it back up because it's pretty much pure ice on this side of the mountain. So, yeah, we do not roll it downhill. Only roll it along the flat as long as you can. This is a little finicky. It's nowhere near as good as a similar thing in Okami, but it's still a cute enough little thing, and I quite like the idea of it. It doesn't take all that long to get it done. I feel like it's got a unique pickup animation as well with him pushing it with his nose. That's cute. There's a lot of stuff in this game that's kind of unremarkable, but cute enough that it has its own charm.
Super super perfect. Let's look for things to use as buttons or eyes, or a nose and arms, or maybe a hat.
Now, I chopped the hell out of this part because you need to find 5 pieces of coal, 3 buttons, 2 eyes, one at a time, and watch an agonizingly slow cutscene in which she applies them. So I've cut straight to the final one here because no one needs to see that. And here we are. It'd just be this, but she put it in one of those 4 spots you see there. That's the only difference, really. And now we're on to at least more visually interesting stuff than putting dots on a big white ball.
His head must be cold. He needs something to put on top of it.
This one actually showed the entire journey off because there's something about it that I quite like, and the hat's fairly close by, so we're just heading down for the hat now at this restaurant at the top of the mountain. And this is what I like about it. Jake actually wears it instead of holding it in his mouth, which is just adorable. Of course he's kind of limping right now because he's hungry, but there you go. Also he got hurt a little bit on that fall. But hopping can help mitigate that. And it's nearly there anyway. Yes, that is how hands work.
Would make perfect arms. Or can you see anything?
The twigs are easy, they're just over here, so I'm just showing these because there's no other reason to show these trees ever. This is the only thing these trees are for. So if I didn't leave this in, the trees would not be shown at all. They're part of this game too.
Looking good. Another twig.
So, time for the second twig. And we'll lay on to the final ingredient, the nose. The snowman's taking form and it's looking pretty good so far. Insofar as this engine allows it to look good. I like the way the coal and the snow coordinates with the colours of the hat. It's a small thing, but it looks nice.
What about looking for something to make the nose? Maybe a carrot? Have you got any ideas?
Unfortunately, we can't just steal the carrot from the other snowman, that wouldn't be fair. So we'll have to find one. Just on the other side of the slope, it won't take much longer. Just again, and at least after this we'll get a bonus, we'll be back at full health after getting this from up here at the top of the ski lift. So here's the carrot. And I'll cut back the journey because of how slow we're moving. Yeah, she kind of has to wait for the carrot to stop moving before she can pick it up because of the way the engine works. And there we go.
Hey Johnny, check out Susie's snowman. It's way cool.
Hey, neat! Your snowman has a better hat than ours, Susie. I guess you win the contest.
There you go, boy. Couldn't have done it without you.
And there's our bone, finally. One of the longer side quests, but a cute one that I kind of like. So here, I actually had to make a cut because I failed this the first time, which was embarrassing. But there you go. So let's learn a new trick. After briefly kissing, apparently.
Go for it, guy.
These obviously always start off fairly simple, and then get kind of tricky for the very final one. At least this one's got some interesting patterns going with like move,
Go for
bark,
it,
move,
guy.
move, bark, move kind of a thing. It feels less randomized and more deliberately planned. So there's at least something to it. There's like a pattern to this one, so that's not too bad. I like that part of the music before
now or
it
never,
loops,
not
because that's
bad.
kind of a neat little chord progression, that. And there we go. The third of 5 bags. Nearly done with those now. Yeah, this side of the mountain can be kind of tricky to navigate for reasons you'll see when it comes up. But for now, let's collect these purple scents. Again, judicious use of cutting because of commonly getting lost. That was me remembering the greens were over there, so to leave those alone for now. We'll have ample time for that later, but this is part of the reason I leave the purples in, because this area you otherwise have no reason to go to. So if I didn't leave the purples in, you wouldn't actually see this little bit of platforming here. And this interesting little tunnel leading to earlier in the mountain. I quite like the way this particular side of the mountain is interconnected. It looks interesting and it's fun to walk around and things. It's just, as you've noticed, there's a few ice patches around that make certain aspects of it kind of annoying. And here is why this is tricky, because if you accidentally end up slightly one step on the ice, this will happen. You'll be deposited right to the bottom of the whole thing. Yeah, I was a bit dizzy there. So let's collect these. Top of the world map. So now let's head to the parking lot and see what scents there are over there. Not in this lot, but in the next one there's a whole string of them that we're going to get over there. And yeah, you're technically supposed to walk along the wall, but you don't need to, and that's way too finicky, so... Viva the hitbox. Here we are. I was going back for the food here, because Drake's been kind of hungry for the entirety of the thing. And let's gingerly wander around the loading zones as usual to make sure nothing gets left behind, because those are annoying places to leave scents behind in. And next let's get a sense we saw earlier around the hut itself. I like these little huts because they add a little flavour to the thing, and the fact that you can go into all of them even if there's nothing in there is a nice little thing. It's cool to be able to go into them because too often there's buildings that are just there to fill space. And at least every building in this area, except for the cafe, has a purpose, which is something I quite like. They put effort into that kind of part, that aspect of the level design. Most of the actual level has a purpose within itself, in the context of the game. And yeah, here's a lot of cutting around here, because this area is particularly bad looking for the purple scents, because of stuff like getting stuck in this doorway, but also for aspects like I got really lost for a while before I remembered these scents were up here to finish things off. So let's get these up here. Now after I get this one up on this little passage, we will see exactly why this area is mean for the purple scents. It was right there, but no one noticed it. I know I didn't. I searched for that scent for ages. So now let's claim our prize, limping down the mountain to our bone. Had to cut that part of that off because I opened the menu a little early there. So let's move on to the minigames. Going down here first because these are the easiest scents to get. They're just right at the bottom of the mountain. And this, you're supposed to technically go down the entire ice side and try and catch it on the way down, but screw that. Close, but not quite. Maybe we need a bit of a run-up. And charge! Bam. And now a slow, lumbering, embarrassing lope down the slide again. This area can be kind of annoying because it doesn't look it, but this ice lake thing, this little one, is actually on a slope itself. So you can easily get caught and end up sliding down the whole, like that, sliding down the whole lake. Now, at least that one got me a green scent, so it was a wash. Let's get this orange scent. Gotta be kidding me, it's right there. Let's try and use a new trick.
I've got more bones.
And now let's play tug of war to get our frustrations out.
3, 2, 1, go.
We were almost 3 times as powerful as this dog at the moment. We have 62 bones, his 15. 25 rather. Numbers. There we go. And now we'll see what he does for us. Yeah, as he mentioned there, this guy is very good at jumping. The problem is, you're supposed to of course use him to get up this mountain in the distance that I'm heading towards now to get that hat, but Jake can actually make the initial jump as well. Which I think may be an oversight, because he's clearly not supposed to, because he's supposed to use this dog to do that. There's a similar thing later on in the game with a similarly good at jumping dog, who actually makes the platforming harder because he's too good. If these dogs go too quickly, like that almost did, you'll end up jumping straight off the entire mountain, and you'll have to climb him all the way back up again, and often, occasionally run out of time. There's only one other dog that's as bad as that, but we'll see him closer to the end of the game. But for now, let's get this hat. I like that visual, it's a cool looking camera angle.
My wife bought me this for my birthday. Suits me, don't you think? Here, have a nice juicy bone.
Dog is not impressed.
Oh, tastes
And now,
great.
we only have, I believe, one more challenge to do in this area, so let's go to it. We've noticed that string of green scents at the beginning of this area here. So let's pick those up now. And we'll see the true use for the ice slide beyond being a trap. I quite like this string of scents, because despite it being on ice, it's a really fun way of doing it, because it kind of forces you into getting them all without having to worry about missing them. The route is fairly straightforward.
Go.
And now this gets tricky, because at the beginning of the thing, you have to notice he's going to be on the inside lane. He's going to be slightly ahead of you. So you have to be kind of cheeky and work your way around to get back ahead of him like I just did. Otherwise, you bump up against him and be stuck behind him for the entire race, and that'll be annoying. Well, until such time as you can catch up again. So, let's go around the restaurant here, and continue down the mountain and get the rest of these. Oop. Missed one there. So, yep, time for this platforming section. I'm glad to make another use of it, because it gives a good chance for players to see these areas that otherwise would get neglected. I quite like how complex some of these environments can be, even if they normally aren't in games. Like, normally ski slopes are fairly straightforward, like in most like SSX games and sports games in general. They tend to be fairly straightforward, it's just a bunch of half pipes. So it's nice to have this kind of thing be a little more intricate in the actual layout. The nature of it being a collectathon. Almost said puzzle or platformer, but it's neither of those really. It's just a chill out, wander around dog simulator collecting stuff. Which I like. I like when games are able to do that. And yeah, here's actually an interesting way of getting rid of this kind of status effect. That's actually the purpose of that. You can actually immediately dispel any bad food. And replace it with good and get back to full health. Which is something I actually didn't know until I did that out of desperation. It's kind of, come on. So there's that last bone. Just to prove it, we've got every bone there. And I like that the snowman's the photo here and not the little girl building him. That's kind of funny. So, let's relax in our kennel. And next time, you may have noticed that those two roads both go in the same direction. So in the next video, we will see where they meet. Until then, let's save our game and let Jake have a small nap, because this was a tiring one for him. Goodbye.